Parshas Korach. So the pasuk starts Vayikach Korach. So we said, lucky we named the Parsha Korach and not Vayikach, because what was taken is not very clear here. What was the object? We know what was the poel. What the poel means, the action. The one who took the taking, the one who did the action of taking, we know that was Korach. But what was the poel? What was the act? What was the thing that was taken? Is not clear. So what does it suggest? Maybe he took Yitzhar, but that is not an option, because Vayikach Korach ben Yitzhar, he was the son of Yitzhar, he was the son of Kasi, he was the son of Levi, and we spoke out that Yaakov wanted to keep his name out of it, so therefore Yaakov said, I'm taking him out of my lineage, like he's divorced out of my lineage, don't bring me back to it, and therefore he was left out of it. But the question is, so what did he take? What did Korach ben Yitzhar ben Kas ben Levi take? So what's the other option to say?
So anything that's not bone is not going to
What else could you say that he took?
That's the rule.
250 people.
Oh, maybe he took 250 people. Good, that's a good choice, because the next pasuk it says that he had Chamishim Messiah Mish. Right? It says that they stood in front of Moshe. There were 250 men who were the CAA, they were the big princes. So maybe you'll say that he took those 250 people. But the problem with that shot is that the first big problem is that there's a big break in between that. It should have said Vayikach Korach ben Yitzhar ben Kas ben Levi. It should have said, should have gone straight there. Here there's a break. Here there's a break first with Dasan v'Avira. Speaks out that Dasan and Aviram b'nei Eliyav. What was with Dasan and Aviram? Where were they in the whole picture? That's like an interruption in the middle. So therefore that seems to say that, and then says Vayakumu, then says even more, and they stood up in front of Moshe, and these people stood in front of Moshe. So the Vayikach is going on to a pasuk later, middle of the pasuk. That's a big problem to say that.
Because they took his complaint.
He took his complaint to who? Moshe. But it doesn't say that. It doesn't say complaint, and it doesn't say to Moshe. Vayakumu l'fnei Moshe. Oh, you want to say that he went in front of Moshe, he took his complaint. But the problem is, it leaves out that pa'ol, it leaves out that object. Right? Very good. So therefore, what you have to go into, actually they do bring this down. Vayikach Korach. Beautiful. So the truth is, there's one shot is the Ramban, and the other shot is the Ibn Ezra. Right? We're analyzing the first pasuk in Parshas Korach. So the Ibn Ezra, he wants to say that the pasuk speaks shorthand. Sometimes the psukim will leave out a word when they're trying to say something, and they'll leave out a word. So he gives an example. Right? It says Vayikach Korach. What did Korach take? What did he take? So one idea maybe is he took people. He took the people, and he rounded them up, and he convinced them to go against Moshe. Where does it say that he took people? It doesn't say he took people. It says Vayikach Korach. So he says you have to insert the word Anoshim. He took people. Vayikach Korach ben Yitzhar ben Kas ben Levi Anoshim. That's how he says you have to read the pasuk. That's Ibn Ezra. And then he brings a raya, he brings proof. He brings a proof that we have in Navi. In Navi you find in Shmuel that it says such an idea. It says that Shaul took Vayikach Yishai. Yishai took Chamor Lechem. He took a Chamor, a donkey, Lechem. Chamor Lechem. So the Radak says a Chamor Ta'on, it was laden with Lechem. So he says the word Ta'on is really left out. So sometimes you have an implied word which could be left out of the pasuk. So that's what Ibn Ezra wants to learn here.
So he took 250 men.
Yes.
So then why does he answer?
That's what you said, right?
But why does he have to repeat it later then? They stood with 250,000 men.
No, that's another thing. The first pasuk is saying Vayikach Korach ben Yitzhar, he took the 250 men. and Dasan Vaviram, and he also took Dasan Vaviram. By the way, this would be very good. He took the men, and he took Dasan Vaviram also, and he rounded them up and convinced them to complain against Moshe. Then Pasuk Beis says, Vayakumu say Moshe, and they all stood in front of Moshe. Who? They, yeah, so it repeats it again, but it's a different subject, a different idea what they're doing there in Pasuk Beis. Pasuk Beis saying that they stood, but you're asking that's already the implied. We already spoke about that.
It does seem like Korach took Korach. That's what they're trying to say.
Who says that? Korach took who?
Korach.
Korach took Korach.
You have to take yourself.
How do you take yourself?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what it's
Who says that?
Yeah, it says, yeah, but you can't Korach. Then you can't bring so you
that's
take yourself.
How do you take himself?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
No, because
it's lying that Korach took Korach.
Reading Rashi.
Because of heat.
What?
You saw Rashi?
That's right. I think
You saw Rashi? You're machavin to Rashi. So we're gonna get to Rashi in 1 minute. Very good, very good. But we're just gonna work around all the other pshat until we get to Rashi, until we're forced into this pshat. But this is the Ibn Ezra's pshat, and it brings us proof that sometimes you have an implied word in there. Now Rashi obviously held this is a very hard pshat to put in a word anoshim into the pasuk when it doesn't say that. So although you might have a proof from let's say Navi, but when you don't have to say it, you don't say it. So the next idea is what the Ramban brings down. The Ramban says that you have to take out a vav. Next try. When it says vid dasan vaviram, you know who he took? Korach took dasan vaviram. It says vayikach Korach ben Yitzhak ben Kaz. Who did he take? Dasan vaviram. Bnei Eliyav, who were the sons of Eliyav, and he took on ben Pelas. He took them. How did he convince them to argue against Moshe?
Well, how can he just say he took out a vav?
Oh, how can you say you took out a vav? Because you have to say you take out the vav, because the vav says and dasan. It doesn't make sense to say Korach took and dasan. It should say Korach took dasan. Why is there a vav there? So what the Ramban brings down, he brings it from a Yesh Mefarshim of Acherim. He brings these people. They want to say that sometimes in Chumash we find that there's a vav missing. Sometimes there's a vav that is a vav, but it really doesn't belong there. Look, turn to Bereshis. Let everyone turn to Bereshis. Hold your finger over on this place. Turn to Bereshis for a minute. I want to show you in Perek Lamed Vav the children of in Esav's family. Perek Lamed Vav Pasuk Chav Daled. And you'll see an astounding thing which Rashi himself is going to have to explain how to read this pasuk. So here it's speaking out all the children of Esav. So in Perek Lamed Vav. Oh, good. Pasuk Chav Beis. Excellent. Pasuk Chav Dalet. Here Rashi says, Ve'ela, these are the Ve'ela b'nei Tivon. These are the children of Tivon. We got the place. Perek Lamed Vav, Pasuk Chav Dalet. So it says all the children of Esav. Ve'ela b'nei Tivon. Now these are the children of Tivon. Who are the children of Tivon? So he says, Ve'aya ve'ana. What does ve'aya mean? And ana. What is he talking about? It should have said ve'el b'nei Tivon, ana, aya ve'ana. The second one you could put a vav because there is the and. So you could say aya ve'ana. But why is there a vav in the first word? Ve'aya and ana. It's an incomplete sentence there. You get crossed out if you're on the English test for writing such a sentence.
No, but it could be there.
What does that mean?
You could say like these are the children of Tivon.
What do you mean and?
No,
these are the children.
You don't say these are my kids and Michael.
These are my kids.
And the kids.
So these are the children of, in other words, saying Ron and Jesse. So it's their children. So these are the descendants of Ron and Jesse.
Yeah. So again, what's your children's names? You're on Coach 2 now. What's your kid's name again? Michael and Akiva. So these are the children of Julian and Michael.
So it's their children. So
Whose children? It's human children.
Plainly, who's Michael's son. So then you would say these are the children of Julian.
No, we're saying these are the children of Tivon. Tivon had two children. Ana ve'aya. He had two children. These were his children. Aya and Ana. So you should say Aya ve'ana. Don't say ve'aya ve'ana. It's not. You're asking maybe it was the grandchildren.
Right.
No, it wasn't. We're not saying the We're not saying the children of Tivon and the children of Aya. We're saying no. So we're saying his actual children. He had two children, Aya ve'ana. So therefore, this is a big question. So we're looking.
English gives it away.
What?
English gives it away.
What does English say?
Separated himself.
Yeah. Ooh, English on that. Okay, one second. Okay, so I'm saying over first the Ramban. This is Ramban. Look at Rashi on this pasuk in Bereshis. Rashi in Bereshis says that you could sometimes have a vav yisera. You see Rashi 3 lines on the bottom in the first column on this pasuk on Chav Dalet. You see Rashi for Chav Dalet?
Because he was the illegitimate child.
That's why what?
That's why he didn't mention him.
Who?
It says that Anna was illegitimate, and sometimes it's called his brother, and sometimes it's called his son. There's no connection.
Between who and who? That could be a different question, but I don't think it's
provides a connection.
That's why it's provided a connection
between the people.
So we have to look.
They're separate.
We have to look that up. Hold on to that. But look at Rashi first. Rashi says vav yisera. This vav is extra. V'hu k'moi aya v'ana. Rashi says on Bereshis, you're right. The vav here, Rashi says, is an extra vav. You have to read the pasuk like there's no vav here. Right? So what do you want to say? Do you want to say? Does he explain this?
Someone becoming from.
What means that distinguishing
It doesn't say the vav. You want to explain that maybe?
No, it might be
Wouldn't really make a difference.
We have to work that out.
He didn't want to be connected.
So why would you just put the more important one there?
So he was a
that's at the end.
He didn't want to say that.
I hear that idea.
A and B, O, B and A.
Or 100% answered.
This is the Ramban's shot.
That makes sense.
But he brings it from Acherim, and he doesn't really. He brings this pasuk, he brings another pasuk in Tillim, and says Nirdam Varechev.
I trust that
It says that they, Nirdam, they fell asleep. Varechev, so they were. There's a few psukim. It says they were Nirdam. They were like numb. They couldn't do anything. Who? The Rechev and Sus. But it says Nirdam, Virechev Visus. It should have said Nirdam, they were numb, Rechev Visus. Why say Nirdam, Virechev Visus? So there is one place, another place in Daniel, that you find this one letter, which is a Vav, but it's like a silent Vav. You could really read it without it. That's the Ibn Ezra's pshat. But he says that Rashi obviously held this as a little dachik, although Rashi in Bereshit says it, but Rashi says when you don't have to say it, he'd rather not. So therefore he backed out of this pshat also. He didn't like this acherim, because he didn't want to take away a vav. A vav in the Torah is precious. Every letter is precious. There he was forced to, so he said there the vav is yisera. So what's the other idea? By the way, all this is trying to understand the pshuta shel mikra. That means the words.
But then there should be a verb after B'nai, before B'nai. How can you say?
So according to this, it will be Vayikach Korach ben Yitzhak ben Kas ben Levi. He took Dathan v'Avira.
And then it should be verb B'nai.
B'nai Eliyahu, who were the children of Eliyahu. What?
It should be verb there. It should be and.
Where?
By B'nai Eliyahu. Yeah, it should be.
No, they were the B'nai Eliyahu. It was they took Dathan v'Avira, who were the children of the children of Eliyahu, and Ein ben Kas. Yeah. So therefore, that's a difficult shot to say. So because of this, the pshutai, the words, the plain, right? This is called pshutai shel mikra. The plain, simple sense of the words in this parsha is very schwer to understand. And if you don't have something to help you, you can get stuck on the simple sense of the meaning. So let's see Rashi, and let's see how Rashi helps us. So you got the Rashi, the first Rashi in the parsha says, Vayikach Korach, Parsha zu yofen nidreshes v'medrash Rebbe Tanchuma. This parsha is explained beautifully. It's a pshat. You see Rashi here? You see Rashi here? Is nidreshes yofen. Yofen nidreshes. It's beautifully expounded on in Medrash Rebbe Tanchuma. Now, this sentence here is very strange, right? because you don't usually find this, right? You might find a bacher or someone saying, that's a beautiful shir he gave, or this is a beautiful sugya. But when do you find Rashi, you ever found the Rashi? It says, this medrash is a beautiful medrash, right? You don't find Rashi usually doing that.
That's what he says.
Well, but even if he would tell you, he tells me it's the Tanchuma, and he means to say that we're going to explain that Tanchuma and they're coming up Rashis, we're going to use that Tanchuma. Let's say he'll use these Tanchuma in the next Rashis. But why is he giving this compliment? This Rashi is beautiful, the Tanchuma is beautiful. It's I don't think you'll find it too many times in the Torah that Rashi gives a compliment and says it's Yafa. That's the first question. The second question is, you're not allowed to say that. Because the Gemara says an interesting thing. It says a pasuk in Mishlei. It says a father, Ish Oyev Chochma Yisamach Oviv. A father will be very happy if he has a son who loves Chochma. Ish Oyev Chochma, a man who loves Chochma, Yisamach Oviv, he'll make his father very happy. Right, you see, a lot of parents, they think their kids are, the guy just spoke the other day, he said, my father thought I was rebelling and he thought I was crazy, they were taking me away from him, and he was being a Baal Tshuva, and his father, it was like so painful, and the father thought he was losing his son, and now he's there with the son's Simcha, and he was like happy, because he sees that when the son's going on the right path, that makes the father the happiest, that gives the father the most happiness. So the pasuk in Mishlei says it's in Perek of Test, pasuk Gimel, Ish Oyev Chachma Yisamach Oviv. If a man loves wisdom, the Torah, his father will be happy. But the pasuk continues, V'roya Zainais, a son who instead likes to find people to be mezana with, find harlots to go and make himself roya. Roya is a pastor. He likes to pasture himself and go and party with everyone. Ya'abed hoin. He will take his father's hoin, the money. Hoin is like a big hoin rav, like a big sum of money. Ya'abed, he'll just, in a matter of days, he'll spend it all. So that type, the father doesn't like that type of son. That type of son just uses up all the father's money. So therefore the pasuk says, a son who likes chachma, the father enjoys that. But a son who just wants to be roya zainais, who just likes to be mezana and pasture himself, that he just uses up his father's money, that doesn't do the father so much good and happiness. That's the simple meaning of the pasuk. So the Gemara in Eruvin, on Daf Samach Dalid, the Gemara in Eruvin learns up on this pasuk that it means, why is this pasuk spelled Zoina, Zoinois, Zayin Vav, Nun Vav Saf? It's spelled with two Vavs. It's spelled Mole, it's spelled full, with two Vavs. Zoina, Zoinoeh. So the Gemara learns out that it's spelled full to teach you, anyone who says, Halacha Zu, Zoin, Noeh, Noah means beautiful. Anyone says this halacha is Noah, and this halacha is not so Noah, me'abed hoin, he will forget the hoin of learning that he learned. Anything he learns, he forgets his learning. If he's such a person who says halacha zu Noah, halacha zu loy Noah, if you say this halacha is beautiful, now halacha is not nice, you'll forget your learning. That's what the Gemara learns out on this pasuk. It's a contraction. Zoinois is a contraction of zu Noah. If he says halacha zu Noah or halacha zu loy Noah, right?
So when you're learning, you say this is a beautiful.
So what happens when you're learning?
They could explain it.
So what's the pshat? No. So what's the reason? Why can't you say this halacha is Noah? Isn't that nice? You're saying the Torah is beautiful. So the truth is, the Marsha says that the Gemara, the Marsha says, even if you say this halacha is beautiful, you're not supposed to say this halacha is beautiful.
You might be saying that was not so beautiful.
Right, because when you say this sugya is beautiful, that means you're saying another one. I don't know what was flying in the last sugya.
This halacha is gewaltig.
So
Rashi isn't saying that.
because it sounds right. Right. Same idea. Same idea.
Somebody did a good job.
It's not explaining that it is not. It's not explaining beautiful. That's what he's saying.
Everybody's saying,
right. Good point. Good point. So what comes out? So Jules is asking now. So how could you ever say I like the sugya? So So the idea is that, what's the pshat here? The pshat is, if a person says, this halacha, I think it makes sense, it's true. When you're saying zuna, you're coming to say not just, it's nice, you're coming to say deeper. I think this makes sense, I think this is right. And the other halacha, I don't understand it. And the Torah says, in Reiku Mikem. Yeah.
If you don't understand it, it doesn't mean it's not nice, because when you get to understand it, it could be nice.
Oh, so that's the answer. The answer is, when we say this is a beautiful sugya, what we mean to say is we have understood the Gemara to the depth, and now we appreciate it. When you see emes, every Gemara, when you get to the emes, then you feel joy in understanding the truth, because we have a neshama that's full of, it's a part of Hashem, and Hashem is emes, and when we see emes, we delight in emes. So that's why whenever we get a Gemara good and we understand the emes, then we enjoy it, we delight in it. So therefore, when we understand it, we mean to say, now I understand this Gemara, so I'm enjoying this. But we don't mean to say that the other Gemara that I didn't understand, that Gemara was not true. We meant to say it in reference to ourselves. Same thing as when you say, this Rashi is a Shver Rashi. This Rashi doesn't make sense. People will say, Rashi doesn't make sense. Rashi is Shver Rashi. What do you mean it's Shver Rashi? So it's a weak Rashi. Every word of Rashi is gold. The answer is the same idea. When we say it, we mean to say, I don't understand. I'm Shver. I don't understand it. The Rashi is gold. That's what we mean. It's a loose tongue the way we say it. But the Gemara here is referring to a guy who says, someone who says, this halacha is beautiful, and he means to say, I think this one is Geshmak. The other one, I don't know what there was there. The Meiri explains this, that you just like pick, you think this is a Geshmak sugya, but the other one, every sugya is Geshmak. If you learn every sugya, you take it and you analyze it, every Gemara could be beautiful. It's not, a person should say, this Gemara is nice, that Gemara is not nice. Every Gemara is beautiful.
Probably just haven't understood it.
What?
We haven't understood it yet. That's
We haven't understood it, right. So therefore, that I should be able to say. Oh, who?
You shouldn't be able to.
So therefore you should not, but someone who means it really should not be able to say this sugya is beautiful.
But then Rashi, you understand them all.
So now the question is, back to Rashi, how could Rashi say, this parsha is beautifully explained? Why is he saying that?
He's not talking about the Torah, he's talking about the Tanchuma explain it beautifully. He's talking about the Tanchuma, he's not talking about the Torah.
So the Tanchuma is beautiful. The Gemara in Eruvin says, the Gemara in Eruvin's words are, someone who says this halacha is beautiful.
Yeah, the halacha.
Halacha also, you can't say halacha is beautiful. The Gemara's lashon is,
Rashi can't say that he doesn't understand it.
halacha, even halacha you can't say is beautiful.
Yeah, but he's not saying this medrash is beautiful.
That's what he's saying. What's he saying?
He's explaining that in the medrash is beautiful.
Yeah, but same thing.
Doesn't that mean to say that the other medrash Rabbah, I want to touch the medrash Rabbah here, you know. Medrash Tanchuma, that's Yafeh. Medrash Rabbah, we'll skip that one for this parsha. So based on this, Rashi, the answer to this question is that Rashi held that the simple meaning of the pasuk is shver. The pshuta shel mikra shver. We went through the Ibn Ezra, the Ramban, and if you don't go with Ibn Ezra Ramban, then it just doesn't make sense, flat out. Vayikach Korach, it doesn't say what he took. Therefore Rashi said, I found a pshat in the Tanchuma, which is a drush. The medrash is not a simple pshat, right? Rashi says, what was my goal? Rashi wrote this whole perush on Chumash because he said, I want to explain Pasha Pshat. Right? Rashi says, the first Rashi in the whole Bereshis, he says, there's a lot of medrashim, he says, but I'm not coming to say expoundations. I'm coming to explain the simple meaning of the Chumash. Right in the beginning, he said it already on the first pasuk. So therefore, based on that, Rashi says the medrash. Rashi says in two places is like a hammer banging on a rock. You bang on it, and all of a sudden it splits into 70 parts. 70 things shoot out. Sparks. It's like sparks that shoot out from a rock. That's what the medrash is. There's 70 different shatim. And some of these, it's all part of MS. It all has an element of truth, a certain element of perception of truth in it, but it's not the simple meaning. It's not the simple meaning of the text on a simple level. So Rashi says, I came to say, to touch it on a simple level. If I got stuck, says Rashi, if I don't have a good shot, then I have to resort to saying, according to the Medrash, I try to fit it into the pasuk. To say it, fit in the Medrash into the pasuk. So that's the two ways that Rashi goes about it. Here, Rashi says, I have a Medrash, and the Medrash here is explained so beautifully that it can even fit in. It's almost pashup shot. That's what Rashi is. Let's read the next words in Rashi. Vayikach Korach, what did he take? So here, if Jules was mechavin, lo kach et atzma. He took himself to one side, in order to, he took himself to be divided from the whole congregation, to start up and to complain against the kahuna. That he brings down Onkelos, that he was divided, and he says, what does the ispeleg mean? It does not mean he argued. Sometimes we have in the Gemara pligi, and Onkelos is written in our Aramaic. But here he says, he does not say that he argued, because then it would have said polag. He argued. Here it says that he took it, he divided himself. The word comes from dividing. Nechalak misharo eida. He divided himself from the rest of the congregation. Lahachazik b'machlekes, to hold on to the machlekes and to strengthen himself in the argument, as it says, as it says, my heart will take me. Your heart will take you. And it takes you to separate you far and distance you mishar b'nei adam. Tanchuma. So Rashi is saying that he took himself. Now the first question is,
but saying that he was separating himself.
You're right. He separated himself. He took himself out from the congregation.
To go speak to Moshe.
Well, not just to go to speak to Moshe, but on a much deeper level, he took himself out from the whole congregation to argue against Moshe and Aaron. That everyone was together. Right here, here's the explanation. How did he take himself out? Because everyone was together with Moshe and Aaron. Everyone believed in Moshe and everyone believed in Aaron. And here, Korach is saying, no, I'm different. I hold that Moshe and Aaron's wrong, and he's going against everyone. So he's taking himself out of the circle of all of the Jews. So he's like, here's all the Yidden. He went and he took himself out of the whole mixture. That's what he's saying. Vayikach Korach, he took himself out from the whole Eidah. Now, the question is, where does it say that he took himself? That's what I asked you before. How did it say he took himself? It says Vayikach Korach. Right? It has to say who took who. So this,
If he took himself, how could he be taken with all the others?
with from the others?
With that, how did he take it?
No. So according to this, he did not take Dasan and Avira. Rashi argues on that he took Dasan and Avira.
He took himself.
He took himself. So wait. So how does it read? Vayikach. He took himself. And Dasan and Avira.
Likewise, it's the same thing.
What?
Dasan and Aviram likewise it's the same thing.
Right. Well, let me first tell you one thing. So hold on to that point. Let me first tell you, where does it say they took himself? That's the first question. Where did he take himself? It doesn't say Vayikach Korach et atzmai. So the Mizrahi says, I believe it's the Mizrahi, that what it means is Vayikach Korach took Ben Yitzhar. He took the Ben Yitzhar, Ben Kos, Ben Levi, Ben Yaakov. He took that figure he had a yichus, he had a lineage of being such a esteemed yichus. They had such a beautiful lineage and personality, and he took himself away from that. He took all of that beauty and he took himself out. Vayikach Korach, who did he take? He took himself out. Where did he take himself from? Says Rashi, I'll give you the clue. He took himself out from the Eidah. But first the verb, the taking, who took and what did he take? The answer is Korach took Ben Yitzhar. That's the first idea that we're saying here. And where did he take himself? He took himself out from the whole Eidah. He pulled himself out from the whole congregation. And he took what they call the Mila, his Mila, the Milas Atzma, his lineage, his great Mila that he had. He had a Mila that he was such a beautiful lineage. He took that Mila and he took himself out. And he just despised it. He didn't use out his Mila. And he took himself out and divided himself from the whole congregation. That's the first, that's how you explain this. And then he explains what Mr. Chazen is asking now. They say that he also took Dasan Vavirus. So that's how you read it. Vayikach Korach, who did he take? Number one, he took Ben Yitzhak Ben Kos Ben Levi. V'Dasan Vaviram B'nei Eliyav. He also took Dasan Vaviram B'nei Eliyav. V'Oin Ben Peles B'nei Ruvain. And he took Oin Ben Peles B'nei Ruvain. And the Vav is great now. Rashi says the Vav, you don't have to take out the Vav Yisera. No, it's not extra. He took Dasan Vav V'Dasan Vaviram and Dasan Vaviram. He also took them and separated them b'toich ha'eda, and Eliyav and Oin Ben Peles B'nei Ruvain, and he separated them. He took them and he brought them out, not physically, but in mentally, in hashkafa. He divided himself and them from the whole congregation. He took them out from the congregation, from the whole congregation. They all argued in hashkafa, and they were all with Moshe, and he took himself out, and he took them out from the congregation. That's how they finish off the pasuk. They also took, you have to put the Vayikach on both. Vayikach Korach Ben Yitzhak Ben Kos Ben Levi Dasan, and he also took Dasan, and he took Oin Ben Peles.
250 men, he didn't say.
No, 1 second. So on 250 men, it doesn't say. Then they stood in front of Moshe. V'anoshim b'nei Yisrael. So it's not, they don't explain really. Maybe if he took them also, it's not so clear about that. It could be because that's not said specifically in the pasuk. So they stood in front of Moshe, and then maybe it ended up 250 men. So that explains how to read the pasuk, and that explains what he took. Because even according to any other pshat, it's going to be shver. And he says, so where did you find such an example of such an idea? Where do you ever find someone take himself? Right? It's a funny thing, right? He took himself. I looked at you like you're crazy before you said this, but really that's Rashi's pshat. So the answer where we find such an idea is by Paroi. In Parshas B'Shalach, it says they were running away. And it says in Parshas B'Shalach, as they were running away, and they were going towards the Yam Suf, it says Paroi, he says, Paroi ran and he took his whole army. And it says there, Uparoi Hikriv. Funny words here, if you look at it carefully. And what?
It's not they often say, take yourself out of the position, okay? Take yourself out.
Yeah, but you have to say the word atzmai. Usually we'll say atzmai. He took himself. But listen, I'll read it to you outside, that Paroi, he strengthened his heart, and I'll read you exactly what it says here. Or you could look at it and see it yourself. By Parshas B'Shalach. Here, it says that he Pasuk Yud in Parak Yudal Pasuk Yud in Ben Shemais. It says they were running after him, all of the army, and it says Paroi Hikriv, and Paroi Hikriv. He came close. Now it's a funny word there. Right, as there, Paroi Hikriv. It should have said Paroi Korav. It should have said Paroi came close. Korav is in little grammar 101. He came close, right? Sagar means he closed, right? Sagar Hadelos, he closed the door, right? Uparoi Sagar Hadelos, Paroi closed the door. So if you want to say Paroi came close, you should have said Uparoi Korav. Why does it say Paroi Hikriv? Hikriv is, it sounds like he brought someone close. Hikriv we have in all the Karbanos in Parshas Nasai over there. Hikriv, Karbanai, he brought forth his carbon if you bring someone else close. Why here does it say Paroi Hikriv? So Rashi says over here, who did he bring close?
virtual reality experiment with Disney.
Rashi says, Hikriv Atzmoi. He brought himself close to run after. It says he was Nisametz. He strengthened himself and he urged on the horse and he brought himself, like sometimes you could try to bring yourself quicker. So he brought himself closer. Hikriv, he brought himself closer. And Rashi there adds in the word Atzmoi. Hikriv es Atzmoi. V'nisametz lekadem l'shem. He strengthened himself to go faster. So he brought himself. So there is an explanation where we find such an example of bringing yourself. So to here, Vayikach Korach, what did he take? He brought himself. So therefore that's one example. And the idea, the Maharal just explains that why does it say Lokach, Vayikach? It's really, in a way, it's really he argued. He took them, but he also, it's a little bit arguing, but he took them out. Usually you don't have an argument where you take yourself out so much. Usually I can argue with you, I'm not taking myself out of any congregation. So here it's more of a Vayikach because he did an action of taking with the arguing. He argued, and in the argument he took himself out of the whole congregation. So it was a more. That's why the Maharal says why he used the word of Vayikach, because it wasn't just taking, it wasn't just arguing. He didn't just want to say that he argued. It was an argument, but it was Vayikach also, right? So it's a classic Maharal. Maharal always asks whenever you have two words and it switches off a word, you have to see why did the pasuk use this word? Why didn't the pasuk say he argued? Machlokes, right? Either machlokes. Should have said Vayachalok Korach. Should have said Vayachalok. He argued. Why does it say Vayikach? He took. It's a funny word, Vayikach. So the Maharal says it comes to teach us this second idea that not only did he argue, but he also in the argument he took himself out of the whole congregation and he separated himself from everyone. And therefore that's why it said this other verb to describe the argument. That's the Korach REG there, the Maharal explains that idea. Because he was a yochid against the whole rabbin, so it wasn't just one person arguing against one person, it was arguing against everyone, so there you get a term of Vayikach also. And, yeah.
Maybe he didn't want to do this, he had really took himself into it, he had to grapple with himself, took himself there, he forced himself to go. Maybe. Because he really was,
but then you're saying a new pshat. That's not Rashi's pshat. Rashi's pshat is he took himself out of the congregation. You want to say
that he had to drag himself because
he took himself to Moshe to complain. You want to say?
Right. So he sort of didn't want to go.
No, that was Mr. Chase's pshat.
You have to drag yourself to eat.
No, the truth is,
but he wasn't very good. He was a great.
The truth is, Julian's saying a nice pshat, which we do find one example which you're mechaven to by the Nazir, in Parshas Nosoi. So there it does say that he took himself over there also, and there is such an idea there, because there it says also that he took himself. Because it says that he brings his carbon. So it's an interesting thing that you're saying. I wasn't going to bring it in, but it does say that such an idea by the Nazir. And the Meshech Chochmah explains that idea. There's three times in the Torah where it speaks this out. He took himself, like you're saying. I'll just read you the Rashi there. It says when he brings his carbon. Here, Yavi Oisai. It says over there, Pasuk Yud Gimel in Perek Vav. It says this is the Nazir. Yavi Oisai al Pesach Hamayid. He should bring Oisai. He should bring him to the Pesach Hamayid. So the question is, who's it bringing? He should bring him. So Rashi there says Yavi Es Atzmai. Similar idea. He should bring himself. And these are one of the three places in the Torah where it's such an idea. So it also says by Moshe when he buried himself, Vayikbar Oisai Begoy. The guy. He buried Oisai. Vayikbar Oisai. Who buried? Who's Oisai? So there it says also Moshe buried himself. There also it's Atzmai. So there the Meshech Chochmah says that he was a Nazir and he finally understood who he is, and he fought out all of his bad bidas. So till he pulled himself in to the base of Mikdash. He was a Nazir. He now is doing his kapara, so he could bring himself in. He pulls himself in by the collar. All his bad midas, he could bring himself in. Such an idea. But
he was running to do evil.
That could be another. But the hero is a different thing, right? So anyway, but that's the idea. So based on this, Rashi held that the Tanchuma was so Pshuta, it was so close to simple meaning of the Pshat that Rashi says, Yafed Zu Nidreshas. This is beautifully expounded as a drush. This drush is so beautiful that I could even put this in to being even to the simple meaning of the text. It almost is to the mamish. You can even call it simple meaning. It's not simple meaning because it doesn't say the words. Simple meaning will be Vayikach Korach, literal translation. But this is so beautiful that I could even call this Pshuta Shel Mikra almost. And therefore he called it Yofen Nidreshas. It's Yofen Nidreshas means it's beautifully Nidresh. He's not mean to say this one is Yofen, that was not Yofen. Avada, you can't say that. It's Osir. The Gemara in Erevin says Osir to say that. Osir to say this one's Yofen. But he means say this is Yofen Nidreshas. This is so beautifully a drush that I can even put this into Pshat, into Rashi. That's why it's so beautiful. The other Pshat, Ibn Ezra, the Ramban, all these other Pshatim I can't go with. So therefore, but no Pasha Pshat. But this is Yafeh, Nidreshus. The drush we could put in to be beautiful Pshat. That's why he puts it right here. Okay.